What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Tanveer Talks. Today, we're going to take a little bit of a break from our usual, which is movies and games, right? We've been for the past few episodes, we were talking about movies and games. But as you know, this channel is about movies, games, and tech, and a little bit about everything, right? So, we've already covered actually multiple topics surrounding latest Marvel leaks, right? Everything from the Sadie Sink rumors to the Grey Hulk appearing in Spider-Man 4, right? We also discussed possible trailers and gameplay footage as Sony's Feb state of play, and which is actually confirmed, right? It is confirmed from Feb 12. So we will be covering that, right? We'll definitely be covering that, right? See if our predictions came true or not. But today we're gonna take a little bit pivot, right? We're gonna talk about AI, so tech in a sense, right? But with AI, we're gonna see if AI is it really like what movies portrayed, or is it still in its infancy, right? Is it inevitable that it'll be intertwined into our lives just like smartphones, right? I'll also talk about Sikhi, like how it relates to AI, right? How it helps understanding Gurbani, and is it really worth using for philosophical purposes in Sikhi, right? Just so you know, right? Just for this, I actually spent 3 hours last night, right, arguing with an AI because it tried to tell me a Gurbani verse that did not even exist, right? It looked perfect. It sounded like poetic, like, but it was a complete lie. So, right, it made me realize like we're living in an era where almost the truth is our biggest enemy, right? So we're gonna be talking about that. So let's dive into it. Okay, so what is essentially AI today, right? It's basically LLM models, right, which are trained on vast data sets and often including like billions of words, right? Which is to identify statistical relationship between words, right? Basically, all AI backend is LLM, right? LLMs basically use neural networks to predict the most probable next word or sequence of words in a sentence. And they're often trained in two stages, right? An initial broad pre-training, right? Followed by a fine-tuning of these specific task, right? Take ChatGPT, for example, right? You can ask anything and it gives the answer right away. You can create videos, images, right? Basically, these models are trained on the whole internet, right? Publicly available data, but not sensitive or private information, right? Like where, let's say, some kind of some API that you need information to, right, for coding purposes, but that API is behind a paywall. AI will not have any answer to this, right? What it will do is it will try to make sense of it, what you're asking, and try to give a general idea of what you mean. Like it basically it's hallucinate. It's gonna hallucinate and tells you like the information, but you it's gonna give you exactly what you're looking for. Basically, make up the word, make up coding. That's one of the downsides to it, but mostly it is good. Like as a programmer myself, right, it has helped me cut down research for the most part for my projects, right? Because like before, like if I needed to create like let's say something like I am role via AWS CLI, right? I'd be digging through the documentation, right? Like I would go to the AWS CLI documentation and dig through it. Okay, this is it. Okay, this is how the command is, and see like what exact inputs, what options does it need, right? And then figure out, okay, this is where I write. Then I will start to do it, right? But with AI, right, I can just ask like what I need to do, and it's gonna just spit out the exact command and JSON file instantly. Like I don't have to, create one, and then I can change whatever I wanted to change to it, right? Or like I can also ask like if I get some errors in my syntax errors or 403 access denied or error like cannot use star accessor because certain things, right? I get that kind of errors, right? I just need to put that error in, right? And it will tell me exactly why I'm getting this error. And since Copilot is now like baked into most of the IDs out there, right? Such as VS Code, right? Now, if I get that error, like in VS Code, I can go to that file where the code resides and paste the answer in the chat and ask it, okay, this is my code. Tell it has the context of that file. It just automatically know that because you opened the file, or you can add it manually, right? The context for it to know, and then paste the error and tell it, okay, this is the error you're getting. Tell me why I'm getting this error. This is my code. Now, like it will just print the whole error message and tell you like at which line you're getting this error at, right? And you can confirm. Like basically, you don't have to rely like on it. You still have to like confirm by changing the things here and there and rerunning it again, right? But at least now I don't have to Google it. I don't have to go to Google, understand why this thing, go to Stack Overflow and search for the answer which has a tick mark on it, right? Or the exact answer I'm looking for, right? Basically, it's saving time rather than increasing time, I would say, right? One of the other best thing it can do is it helps create user guides and documentation, which is the task like all programmers, right? I wouldn't tell you right now, right? It is the best in that regards, right? It helps write documentation that you would obviously take a day or two. Now it happens in few minutes. Of course, you need to edit it out because it will add information that you don't like, because it will just try to guess what you actually mean by some of the abbreviations, right? If you put POC, it might say that it's point of contact rather than proof of concept, right? So that is the thing that sometimes AI lags behind and sometimes even create words out of nowhere, right? But yeah, but thing is that this helps writing code, right? Basically making the code better is, and approachable, I'm gonna say. This actually makes more approachable, like coding more approachable for coders. Like who wanna start good coding, yes, they can leverage AI. One thing I'm gonna say is AI will never replace programmers, real programmers. They like AI will just become those little helpers for coders and programmers, right? It's not gonna replace good programmers, at least. Bad programmers, yes, might, but good ones, no. Uh, Absolutely not. Okay, like so we know that AIs are good code helpers, right? They're good helper for coding, and right. But now we're gonna look into like why, like, does it make a good religious guide, right? And to that I say it's fine sometimes, right? Like let me explain, right? So like it's fine, right? Like AIs are mostly like trained on public data, right? That isn't focused on religious precision, right? When it comes to coding or explaining scriptures, right? It fumbles and it hallucinates. It relies on what is publicly available, right? But even then, it generates wrong codes. Even specialized models like that I'm going to talk about is like Khalsa GPT, that which focuses more on the Sikh side of it, Sikhi side of it, like Sikh religious scriptures, right? Even that it makes even though those scriptures are publicly available, mm, it will make mistakes. That's the thing I don't like about AI, right? Yes, people are gonna say, okay, why do you need it to so like some religious ways, right? So because people in general, doesn't matter if they're religious or not, they want to look up something about a religion, or they want to look up a quote that makes them feel good, right? Or if they're religious, okay, let me, like, they don't want to read the whole thing. They're somewhat religious. They People want to find out, okay, this is like what is the setting, or this is in the mood, what is the best religious quote you can give me based on the religion, right? Right. And if it spits out something wrong, technically the guy who is not as religious, he wouldn't know, right? He will take that as a face value and see, oh, okay, that's what it said. But in reality, this is not exactly what it said, right? Which is not good, I would say, because this can create friction and give wrong context to people. And when they go to like talk about their religion, right? When they find out that it is wrong, it can shatter their whole belief. People are gonna say that's good because then they will know it's not, right? You don't want to break their people's religious views just because you don't like them, right? That's not good, right? So for what I did, right, as a case study, I'm gonna say is I asked ChatGPT, Copilot, Grok, and even Gemini for a quote about not eating meat from the Shri Guru Granth Sahib, right? This is our scripture, right? This is basically our guru, the final guru, right? I asked it to give me a quote, right? And the funny thing is, it gave me a quote. It did give me a quote, but it gave me a wrong one, right? To verify it, because I know the quote, I was just testing it out, right? I checked Sikhi to the Max. Sikhi to the Max is a website, if you don't know, where all the scriptures of Sikhs are there, and you can go look up any verse you want and any at any ang, right? Which is page. If you don't understand Punjabi, right? Nothing. Nothing was there. Nothing on the website. I asked AI give me the exact ang, exact page number, right? Where it is. Where did it get it? Like it gave me 1304. I was like, okay, I go there. The quote wasn't there. And I told the AI it was wrong, right? And you know what it told me? It seriously tell me that, yes, I am wrong, sorry, but that it was just paraphrasing, right? Then it tries to give me the exact, I don't know, to give me the exact quote again. Then it gives me another wrong one. Like it just makes it up, right? Which doesn't make sense, right? Like basically, I was looking for an actual shabd from page 1103, which is Jia Badahu Sutaram Kar Tapo Taram Kahu Katpai, Apas ko Munivar Kar Tapo Kap Ko Kahu Kasai, right? Which means you kill living beings and call it a righteous action. Tell me, brother, what would you call an unrighteous action, right? You call yourself the most excellent sage, then who would you call a butcher? This was the quote that I was looking for. Like, this was the exact quote I was looking for, right? But it gave me completely random one and made it up. Did not even, try to say, okay, I'm wrong. Like, there are other quotes, right? There are other quotes about, like, even like Bhagavad Kabir says, right? About drinking alcohol, about drinking, about right, eating fish as well, right? There are other quotes as well. But yeah, AI completely messes it up, right? There's another one I wanted to ask. Like okay, there's 84 lakh June that, we talk about in Sikhi, right? I asked AI, okay, I asked about these 8.48 million life forms, right? I asked him to give me shabds from the Gurbani, right? From Guru Granth Sahib about it. It gave me some, and most were paraphrased. Again, they were paraphrased. Basically, it is gave me Kachi Bani, right? The fifth one did not even exist. Gave me 5. The fifth one did not even exist. I was saying it's from Ang 206, right? 84 June Param Param Pav Ai Nag Nam Le Mukpa. This is nowhere to be found. This is a paraphrased. I asked it, what did you're creating a wrong one? He's like, no, I paraphrased it. Like, this is Kachi Bani. It is creating its own version of Gurbani because it couldn't find the exact shop, which is not good because in future, right? Like if kids go ahead and try to find these codes, they will think this is right because they will have no idea. Kids want to get some codes just to so people will go to AI because they want to feed their own egos, right? Okay, they want to be feel good about themselves, they want to be right about themselves, right? They'll go ahead, or they just want to know what is it in the scripture that it says, right? They will definitely ask AI because nobody Google anymore. People are not gonna read Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Telling you most people don't have time, and that's it's an excuse, but most people will say they don't have time, right? So they will go to ChatGPT and thinking that it is right, and then they will spread that fake knowledge on anywhere, right? Because they think that they got it right. Basically, like it's up to us, right, as individuals to know what is right and wrong, right? We need to have better vetting features, right? For religion things, I think it needs to be more controlled. It should not give you exact, or create a more specialized AIs that can do it. Right now, I think like AI is just designed to please the user, so it just feeds into your own ego, right? And it gives you the answer that you wanna have it. So even if it needs to invent something new, it will do it, right? I think that is a real danger, right? And if we don't pay attention now, right, like that kids are going to be using it in schools, right? LLM for schools, for even prachar if they want to do a street prachar, right? And they'll start sharing these wrong shabds, right? Thinking they're real, as I said, right? We'll have a whole generation like raised for almost truth. So let's see. So how do we control this, right? Well, first we actually need to create our own versions, right? Which will only have access to verified data. So we'll have to have something AI like Khalsa GPT needs to do something. They need to train their own AI, which is only controlled by our like certain database, right? We have. I know one database which is a full database, which is BaniDB, right? I even built an app, just personal app, a Nitnem app, right? For myself. It gives me hukamnamas every day. I can just go ahead and just turn on and it connects to the BaniDB database, right? It's online, so it has to connect all the time, right? Which is good. I like that's what I like about BaniDB. It's free to use for anybody, but you cannot make edits to it because to make edits you have to go to the GitHub page and let them know that this is something wrong, right? Which is good. I think we need something that can access BaniDB in an AI flavor. I hope they are working on it, right? I tried doing it. I couldn't do it, right? Like all of this research I was doing it for this, my app, right? I wanted to include this, my personal AI tool where, I could ask anything and it could give me the exact code. It did not work out, right? My laptop wasn't capable enough, right? Training a data set on a 2060 Ti RTX on a laptop is not, it's power hungry. I'm I know I don't have the most latest technology, right? For I don't have a good graphics card, as people are gonna say, right? Why don't I have the latest? Why don't you have a desktop? Why do you have a laptop, right? Oh, I don't I don't know. Maybe I'm not into that much of desktop gaming, PC gaming, right? I mostly play like PS5, right? I don't care about graphics fidelity that much, so that's personal preference, right? So even on RTX 2060, like training and even a small set of data was too much for me, right? It was hitting its limits, right? It was basically lagging my computer. I could not even move my cursor. That's how bad it was when it was training the data, right? So I just gave up. My app is there is personally as a personal app still on my phone. I can use it anytime, right? It gives me the local numbers. I can do Nitnem Bani, and all of which connect to this BaniDB. And this BaniDB is one of the most correct version, I would say, because they have constant updates, trying to update words, trying to update certain corrections, I would say, outside of SGPC. So this is not in the SGPC row, right? Because this is team in UK that is doing it, which is good, right? And one more thing I want to add is, right, if you want to do it yourself, right, you can go to Hugging Face, right? There's a website, Hugging Face. They have all sorts of models, right? If you want those open source model, you can train your own AI, and then maybe use that to create more accurate Gurbani, right? And you have to pay for it, exactly, right? It's not free. If you want to have a server space, like models are free. If you have a good powerful computer, yes, you can do it locally, but who does, right? So you can buy like servers and then run your training sets there. So but for now, like, I gave up on that idea, so I don't think the out of the box AI is there yet, right? So let's see, right? So I want to leave you with some thoughts from an article by Dr. Devinder Pal Singh. He's from his saga, right? He wrote an article in 2023, right? Basically, he explores the mutual relevance between 15th century Sikh teachings and modern AI, right? His point is powerful, right? The Shri Guru Granth Sahib actually provides an ethical blueprint for all AI development. It emphasizes oneness, social justice, and seva, right? And if we apply these values, AI can be steered towards sustainability and compassion rather than just raw data analysis, right? And he suggests that, right, AI can benefit in accessibility, like real-time translations for non-Punjabi speakers, right? And preservation, like digitizing our historical manuscripts, right? It's out there on AI, right? It's preservation, right? We'll have the oldest of the oldest scriptures online, digitizing it. That way we'll have the access for it forever, right? So nobody can say, oh, this doesn't exist, this does not, because we can always go back, right? And the guidance, right? Helping people find relevant verses based on their emotions. That is a big one. That's what I tried as well. I wanted to get emotion if I'm in a happy mood. What Gurbani Shabdu should I listen to? But sometimes you can miss it. Sometimes you don't know, right? I have a hard time retaining information, so even if I know, I'll forget about it. Right? So that's what I was trying to do, like help me, but could not get there, so I just gave up on the idea and just focusing on my job, right? Right now, right, like it's not there yet. Like they still put the warning there, it's not accurate, it can make mistakes, but yeah, for now I don't think I can rely on it unless somebody has a good idea and creates their own AI based on Gurbani, right? And one other thing he says there is that he warns about it, like with this AI we risk losing lots of skills, right? And algorithmic bias. That's what he says. Like forgetting how to read Gurmukhi because we rely on a robot to do it for us, right? I think I that is true. Like in future, people might lose the skill of writing because they will always just ask the AI. But we don't know. But for that not to happen, we have to proactively collaborate with these tech experts to ensure AI remains a tool for human connection and not a substitute for it. With that, thank you. for riding with me on this deep dive of AI. I know it's a shift from our usual Marvel and PlayStation talk, but this is the world we are building, right? Next time on Tanveer Talks, right? We know the wait is over, right? The Sony State of Play drops on February 12th. I'll be back here to break down every second of it. Probably not every second of it. I'll be here for the breakdown. Like, did we get the Wolverine trailer that we asked for? Did we get Spidey 4 get a title, right? Or let's see what we're gonna find out, right? Let's see. Until then, right? Subscribe to my channel, Tanveer Talks. Stay grounded in the truth. Stay sovereign in your mind. Don't let the machine think for you. Catch you on the next one.